HBO Max has spent a lot of time in the news recently due to their recent merger with Discovery Plus. They've canceled a few shows and TV shows, most notably the Batgirl film and the Scoop, a Haunt film, which were almost finished. They've also removed over 200 episodes of Sesame Street. So what the hell is going on over at HBO Max? The answer is a lot less dramatic than you might think. It's mostly cost-cutting and a change to their target demographic. Let me explain. Firstly, let's talk about what's actually happening. HBO Max is not getting canceled or disappearing as a streaming platform anytime soon. What they are doing is that they're making changes to the content in order to accommodate Discovery Plus's unscripted catalog and HBO Max's scripted catalog under one umbrella without cluttering the platform. That word cluttering is a mouse tool that we will save for later. The possibility exists that in the near future, the branding will change to reflect a much more homogeneous brand and identity, but it doesn't mean that HBO Max is going through anything as dramatic as a cancellation or an App Store takedown anytime soon. Please, don't get your news through Twitter. So now that we've got that out of the way, why is HBO making such seemingly bizarre content changes? Frankly, it saves them a lot of money. Out of the 36 film and TV shows that they've canceled, a large portion of them were aimed at children or teenagers, such as the teen drama Generation, the Sesame Street spin-off, the Not Too Late Elmo Show, and actual Sesame Street. They're simply pivoting away from their child content and targeting a much more adult audience. HBO Max's demographic tends to lean towards adult males, while Discovery Plus's demographic tends to lean towards adult females. So it makes sense that with the merger and the unification of those catalogs, they exclude children as they prepare themselves to hit a much bigger market by targeting just adults in general. The content that they're removing is more indicative of a demographic exclusion than it is about the health of the streaming platform inside the market. A few inside sources say that this content removal will end up saving the company tens of millions of dollars. The article that I'm using as a source also cites that this saves them a lot of money in residuals, although, as far as I understood, streaming platforms were under no obligation to give residuals to the cast or the crew of any production that they are related to. So I'm putting an asterisk on that one until I can learn a little bit more about it. The story seems to be a little bit different when we're talking about their film properties like Batgirl or Scoop. Those seem to be much more of a tax break situation. There is something called the change of strategy tax measure benefit that allows companies like HBO Max to write off unfinished releases as part of their tax for the year in order to save a little bit of money. This is theorized to be the most likely reason as to why they've elected to not release those almost finished products. However, we don't know for sure, and to be honest with you, we'll just never know. It's a pretty private decision and they're going to be pretty quiet about it. Seems the most likely option, but I'm sure that there's a lot going under the hood that made them choose to not release those properties. You remember that mouse tool that we saved earlier, the decluttering? Let's pull it out now. How many times do you end up sitting across from Netflix, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, hoping to find something interesting and ultimately give up? It's a lot of the time. And a lot of people will cite that problem to Netflix having a lot of bad content, which is not entirely inaccurate, I agree, but it's much more of a discovery problem. Netflix simply has too much choice, and things that are interesting end up getting lost in the shuffle of the sea of content that they have available, leaving viewers with too broad of a viewing experience. HBO Max wants to avoid that. Here's a quote about it. Everything getting pulled from HBO Max was infrequently watched, according to people familiar with the matter. With the coming edition of Discovery Plus's content, Warner Bros. Discovery executives are concerned HBO Max may get bogged down with little-watched films and shows. That could cause viewers to associate the service with having a lot of stuff they don't want to watch. The Netflix problem, said one HBO Max executive. HBO Max is not getting canceled. We're not losing it. And although some of your favorite properties are the ones getting affected, and the branding will potentially change in the future to represent a much more unified brand, right now HBO Max will stay relatively the same streaming platform as it was, just with a couple of changes to their content delivery. So relax, it's okay. This does open up the conversation for media preservation and why streaming platforms are not your friends in general. But that's a topic for another video. Let me know if you'd like me to cover it. So let me know what you think in the comments, subscribe, like, do the whole thing, and remember, stay gold.